Like, what is the next step? Kitty bear?
The next step to what?
Like, when you save your money, then what's the next step? Like, what am I? Do I buy the truck? Do you buy a house? Then what do you do?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out too.
Like, how much money? How much
I mean,
money
there's
is?
3 guys who work for themselves. I mean, we don't have traditional retirement funds, so it's like, well,
Yeah, I have no.
gotta
yeah.
figure out something, whether it's real estate or save money or stock market or whatever.
I do it. Yeah, like, yeah.
Don't you have a rental property, don't you?
Sold it.
You did?
Mm-hmm. Sold it when getting was pretty good.
Yeah.
So sold that, and then took that though, and paid off my student loans.
Nice.
But then you're back to zero, but not paying student loans.
Right, yeah. It's like a net positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you think about it. So I owned it for I don't know how many years. You really are not making much money because you're putting so much into it.
Right.
Like you're putting like at the end of 10 years, how much interest did I pay? How much did I put into it? How much got fixed? What broke? What did everything? And then at the end, you're like, oh, it was you made 100,000. And I'm like, well, not really over 10 years and the interest. And
Yeah.
I lived there for a little bit, like you're like, well, how much did I make?
Yeah, you cashed out 100.
I cashed out and then paid off student loans, which at the time, they should never let anybody who's 18 years old have a credit union to give you money on a college campus.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't even understand. Like, I didn't understand credit cards. I didn't understand anything.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I need some money. And my guidance, or in college, what is it? Your guidance counselor or whatever. She's like, well, go down to the union and at Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And I went there. There wasn't even a line. And I just walked in and said, I need some money. She's like, oh, fill out this form. She's like, how much do you need? And I'm like, well, my rent's this tuition, this is that, whatever. She's like, okay. And then she gave me these forms to fill out. And the next thing you know, I had the money deposited into my account.
That's so
Not understanding. Like, she's like, you don't have to pay anything until 6 months after you graduate. Like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And and then when I got the bill, I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
How do I pay this?
Yeah.
The minimum.
Yep.
Like, how do you pay the minimum? And then what do you what is it when you need to take a break from payments? It's called something.
I don't know.
Well, anyways, I'm like, I took a 6-month thing where you don't have to pay. It's a hardship. Like it's a deferred like hardship or whatever. And during that 6 months, I'm like, oh, this is nice. But your interest is still going. Like the juice is still running.
Yeah.
And then when you get your payment again, it's like, oh fuck. What the fuck? Why doesn't nobody should give me money at 18 years old. Nobody.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like I didn't even really understand how a credit card works until recently. Because like I would always just like I never like did late payments. I would just like pay the shit.
Oh, that's
But
good.
like I didn't understand how the interest actually worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like so Heather actually just recently explained it to me. It's that you have your statement at the end of the month, you need to pay that, otherwise the interest starts accruing right then and there.
Yep.
I always thought that there was like a period of time. And like I think like I accrued interest on a credit card when I was younger, but I didn't understand what it was like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I ended up just paying it off. And I didn't even have a credit card again until 2 months ago.
Sure.
I was credit card free for like 5 years and then
Yep.
got one. And then she's like, oh, this is how it works. I'm like, oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
This is
I-
dangerous still.
Yeah. hell
It's
yeah.
still dangerous.
You need it to have a good credit score.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
it's like,
Right.
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly.
But then, yeah, when you're 18, I mean, that's how I paid to go out and party all the time when I was 18.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any money. But they kept giving me credit cards. They kept giving me student loans. They're like, here, why don't you take a little extra on top of that for you to live while you have
Yeah,
your
you had a
school? I'm like,
living, yeah.
Okay, you're going to give me more? Sure, why not? And then all of a
Cost of
sudden it's
living.
like you get that statement at the end and you're like, wait a second. What have
Yeah.
I just done for the last, 6-7 years?
7
or
years
something.
of that was crazy.
And now I pay a mortgage and student loans.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
Nothing.
I mean, I wouldn't want to file bankruptcy, but I won't even go away if I did.
Yeah.
Like you
yeah.
can't even start over even if you wanted to.
Yeah, the student loan debt is weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. Yeah, I don't know. For a long time, I was big on those 5 years. I was big on just like if you don't have the cash for it, don't buy it.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, no.
But there's so many benefits to having a credit card,
Right.
even like cash back.
You almost
They
have
need
to.
you to
Yeah.
spend money, so
Right.
they're like,
Yeah.
here, you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cash back or even like airline points or whatever.
Sure,
Which is
yeah.
the reason why I got a credit
Right.
card again because so
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for travel directly. Type.
yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Being
Yeah, I mean, like I get airline points, and then I have the Amazon one. So then, like every year, I usually get $400 of Amazon money. So I'm like, oh, I'll buy a new pair of shoes or something. So it's like, okay, it's nice.
Yeah.
but
like,
dangerous.
I didn't know Amazon had a credit card.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I mean, the interest rate's a little high, but if you're responsible with it, you get the points, and then you
Yeah.
can get stuff. So it's
Costco
kinda nice.
have it?
Oh yeah, Costco
Yeah,
has
Costco's
it, and then you get a percentage back on that. And
When I bought Molly's engagement ring, it's 0%. Like the lady literally sat me down and explained how it works. Like, and she's a jewelry person. Like the bank people didn't explain to me even how, nothing. She explained to me, okay, like you get 0% for 1 year. Now, after that year, it's 30% interest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And she's like, so you want to pay this off under a year?
Yeah.
And she's like, look, this is your payment. And she showed me, like, this is your payment. This is your thing. And she scared me enough. And then I paid it off, like, within months, because I just saved every dime,
Right.
turned in my change, like, tried to get rid of it. It was great. Like, then that I was like, okay. Then that was like free money they gave me,
Engagement rings and weddings and all that stuff is like such a hard like
to the weddings.
yeah, I'm like Ricky, my buddy, is getting married. And then when I hear that, I didn't know this either until I was like however many years old. I didn't know that there's an engagement ring and then a wedding ring.
Yep.
And I'm like, what a freaking
Yeah.
what are you kidding?
Then there's your wedding ring.
Yeah, what a scam, dude. Like they've made
Yeah.
such an industry out. And then he's telling me how much the wedding is actually gonna cost. And I'm like, there's just no way. Like, I don't see any point. Like, why do all this?
Yeah.
So our idea is that when we get married, go to Hawaii. Whoever wants to come,
Sure.
just show up.
Show up.
Have a beach wedding. And like, we don't drink, so I don't want to pay for people to party and drink.
Yeah.
To be honest, like,
Yeah.
let's just go hike in the
Right,
on the
right.
volcano.
Do it your way. It's your wedding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just like, yeah, I'd rather spend $5,000 having fun. On
Make a trip out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than anything else. Because then I hear like Styles is getting married. He told me about, some of the financial stuff with that. I'm like, what? And Ricky's like, I'm already $20,000 deep. I'm like, for 1 day? It's like the most
Not even
dumb
a
investment
day.
you'll ever
Right.
make.
Not even a day.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, we got married. Ours was like a party.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's
Oh,
just
yeah.
get a party, get it going. And like you look back on it and I'm like, all right, the way we did it was the way we wanted to do it. And that was so much fun. Like we all could all look back. be
And
like,
it's got to
that
feel good.
was-
Everyone still talks about your wedding too.
Yeah,
That's
it
got to
was-
feel
it was
good
wild.
about
It was
everyone.
fun.
I don't think anyone didn't have fun.
And that's something we both decided on is worthwhile.
Yeah.
But I think you have to have a couple that decides on, all right, this is worth it
Yeah.
to us, whatever, or this is not worth it.
Yeah. It's got to be your flavor.
Yeah.
It's
Your-
got to be, yeah, totally. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, you're fucked.
yeah.
50 grand, and that doesn't even get you, like,
I don't think it's hard. $50,000 probably isn't hard to do either.
I don't think so.
Decent venues, some food, depending on how many people, booze, flowers, pictures. Like,
The flowers, the things that come out of the ground.
right,
For free.
right.
Right, yeah.
Or-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tablecloth. Like, I didn't know that was an extra charge, like a tablecloth. And you're like, nah, we don't need that.
I mean, my favorite thing at all the weddings I go to is trying to figure out how expensive these weddings
Oh,
are.
yeah.
I'll even go as far as like as I'm sitting there, Google the venue and see if they got
Yeah,
pricing on
Google it.
But
You're
I'm nosy like that. I think it's interesting.
It's super interesting.
Yeah.
It's hard to wrap your mind around. Like, I'm like, how is this that expensive?
Yeah.
That's why I like knowing. It's like, whew.
My one buddy did it like really right. They spent like $10,000, but then what they did was they did like, so a lot of it was DIY.
Sure.
They just did the fixtures themselves, and
Right.
then they were like, "Hey, do you guys mind like the wedding party? Do you mind coming and helping setting up
Sure.
the night before or whatever?" And we're like, "Yeah, why
Yeah.
not? Like,
It's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine." But then the other shit, like my cousin's getting married too. It's gonna be in Bozeman, Montana, in August. I don't know why. He's like a mountaineering guy.
Sure.
So we're going out there, but then bachelor parties.
The
Like-
traveling bachelor party or no?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to like what's the place in Nevada? Lake Tahoe.
Tahoe.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm lucky because I don't drink.
Sure.
So I'm not gonna
Yeah,
be spending
yeah.
that much
Right,
money.
right.
You know, and I have points that I can travel on. So
Yeah.
it's essentially free for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But, yeah, but everybody else that's involved, no, I can't even imagine.
I can't
the bill.
imagine. No. Traveling you just got done with a traveling bachelor
I
party.
did. Well,
Where'd
it
you
was
go?
hardly even traveling for me. We went out to Lambeau for a weekend for a Packer game.
Oh, that's fun.
So we rented a house that was literally the backyard was Lambeau Field. Can't get any closer. Friday to Monday. But again, so you're right there. It's in a neighborhood. So the house, even it was $6,000 for the weekend, I think, for the house.
Okay.
Even divide up, there was 15 guys. It was still almost $500 a guy.
Yeah.
For some food and the stay. Just with that, we ended up going to the game. So that was $200. And so you're already just in the door $700.
Wait for a ticket? $200?
I mean, we got really, really good tickets, but
Okay.
I mean, still, it's not hard to spend $200 for a Packer game ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, we were literally
drinks.
9 rows up.
Yeah.
We were right there. But yeah, I mean, I only drank one day of the days I was there, and I maybe that day racked up pretty quick too. I haven't even looked at the real damage
Oh,
of it,
yeah.
but I mean, it's not hard to do that, and that I guess technically is a destination wedding. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose my words right here so I don't offend any people. I mean, it was a great time. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of money, and then destination wedding on top of it. It's like, whew.
Lambo's fun though.
No, I mean, it was super cool. And like I've told Kirk's not a sports ball guy, but like there's something about it that is just like you almost have to experience it because it's just so different than anything else,
Yeah,
regardless
yeah.
if you're
Have you
into
ever
sports or not. It's just, there's some kind of mystique to it just being,
Yeah.
now it's kind of more commercialized, it's built up, but like a couple of years ago, there was literally a Kmart right next to it. Like
Yeah.
it's just in a neighborhood. There's something,
Yeah.
it's neat. It's worth seeing.
Yeah, he said it many times.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do it once.
Yeah. It's,
I've never even been to
Cool.
a Brewer game.
Wow, that's surprising. 'cause
I
you
guess-
lived like right by it.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. It shows no interest.
yeah.
Much like if you're not interested in it, I don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the Packer game I think would be the one thing I'm like, if given the opportunity, it's worth going to one.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you don't go into the game, just see the atmosphere. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm not a football guy at all,
Sure.
or really a sports guy. I
Sure.
used to
Yep.
like to go to the Brewer games to get drunk. And
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
basically it. But one of mine and Heather's like first dates as like an actual couple was going to a Packer game.
Sure.
And then like from going there, I was like, oh, I get it. Like I understand
Yeah.
why people like to come
Yep.
here because the atmosphere, like even just outside of the stadium, at all the bars, the restaurants and stuff, it's just like good.
Yeah.
It's good vibes. Like people are having fun and whatever, and there's so many things to do.
Yeah.
And then we went another time because my brother's company owns like a suite. Is that
Sure.
what they're called? Like
Yeah.
whatever. And he was like, "Hey, do you want these? They're like $1,000 a piece
Sure.
for the tickets." I was like, yeah. I'll take
Like
them."
for free?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like,
Oh,
day
yeah.
of.
Yeah.
It was day of. I canceled everything
Sure.
else, and I was like, "Yo, we're going to a Packer." She's like, "Okay, fine." We go, and then I was like, But now after doing that, I'm like, I can't ever go to
A
Packer
regular
game.
one? Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I-
broke people, like
Right.
rich now, dude.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I've done a Packer game in a suite,
Yeah.
but I do think I'll argue that a Packer game would maybe be the one thing that I'm fine not, because there's something about being in the bowl.
Yeah.
Because there's no seats; it's all just
Yeah.
benches, so it's just a big bench.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's something about being there in that crowd that gives it a little more energy than being in the box. Don't get me wrong.
No,
the
it's
box is
better- it's
amazing,
better in the
but
crowd,
there's
I
something
agree.
about being in that group of people.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
for everything else, like.
Yeah.
I've been in a suite for a Brewer game. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather be in here. But
Yeah.
a Packer game would be the one thing where we're like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take the suite tickets. don't
Oh,
get me
yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
But
yeah.
there's something about actually being in there. The energy is, it's
Yeah.
different. It's a whole experience.
I would never pay the suite price
No.
ever in my life.
No.
No, not even if I'm making millions, because I do not give a shit about football.
No.
But if I'm giving it, I'm taking it.
Sure.
But I would pay again to go sit in the
Yeah.
actual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool experience.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Anything new in training? Heather's gonna start training with you.
Yeah.
Talk to you about
Yeah. She we kind of talked about it
Yeah.
as much as like busy talk,
Yeah.
like there's a bunch of people here. She was, whatever.
She canceled with our coach, so
Oh,
she's
okay.
fully on board.
Yeah, I felt bad. That's what she was talking about, but I'm like, I feel bad if she's your friend or whatever to do it. But I'm like, if it's your decision, and she's got crazy good like base strength and knowledge of how to do things. So the only thing it's just programming so she doesn't like run herself into a brick wall.
Yeah.
But she sounds like she's pretty used to running herself into a brick wall.
Oh yeah.
So it's like one of those things like I gotta be like she's really, really fun to train.
Yeah.
Because if I say you got 4, she's like, okay. Like she'll do 4.
She just does it.
Yeah. If I say you just gotta do 1, she's like, okay, 1. I'm like, okay. That's I mean, you're a soldier. So I'm super excited. There's nothing. And like you can tell she's been coached before because if you try to change something up and do something, she can do it and mimic it or do it right away. And biomechanics wise, she just understands everything about it. So I was like, well, you're pretty fucking strong. So maybe this is the way to go. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
did she just have a birthday?
Yeah, yes, 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Friday. Yeah.
Perfect time to start on your birthday.
Yep. Yeah.
Start over.
Yeah, she's super coachable. She like you said, she's got a nice base level of strength, but she also makes progress with strength stuff with very little work.
Yeah.
You know, like low volume. She doesn't have to really push that hard. She is super used to just like slamming her head into a wall.
Yep.
For sure. Like, and that's part of the reason why she wanted to transition from CrossFit to something else. Like, she hasn't done CrossFit proper in like 4 months, I don't think.
Okay.
Because she was just so burnt out from constantly getting prepped for something.
Yep.
And I told her, I was like, what's funny about this whole thing is she's like, we're walking in the mall yesterday and she's like telling me all these justifications for not doing CrossFit. And I was like, this is so weird because no other sport do people have to make all of these justifications to not want to do the sport. This is the only one that CrossFit makes you feel bad for not doing CrossFit.
You're so stuck.
Yeah, I think it'll be good for her.
Yeah, it'll be great. I mean, and if she doesn't enjoy the process at the end, she'll be stronger to go back to CrossFit, and it gave her a break. So that's
more tools in the tool bag.
Yeah. And I think too, girls in general, from what I've seen and experienced, do much better with strength stuff with less volume, and they can do more volume than guys with assistance stuff. So you got to kind of wrap that around, you know, and it's easy to manipulate and get her stronger by pulling back or adding more assistance stuff. Like, I feel like assistance work, like if we didn't squat for 2 weeks, that would be fine because all we have to do is upper volume on assistance and her squat would go up.
Yeah.
Now, if we squat for 2 weeks, I take away her assistance and then low volume and it's going to go up. You know, it's just like, it's just super easy. Guys are a little different, I feel, in just my experience, but I don't program anything online. So I see everything and I notice that guys are just a little different. They have to do a little bit more volume on the main lifts. And I don't know if that's mastery of a skill. How men have testosterone, more testosterone, and what I really don't know. But their assistance work, I feel, needs to be less. But their main movement work needs to be more, and more warm-ups, and more just kind of like get used to like having your ribs compressed all the time as men. And I don't know if that's their posture of how they walk or whatever, because one, like heavy weight on your back, everything is compressed, right? Your ribs are compressed, your diaphragm's compressed, your abs are compressed. So how do you squat? You have to squat with internal and external rotation in the femur. And I feel like women aren't able to handle enough weight in order that happens. So they're real bendy and mobile with heavy weight.
Yeah.
You know, and is that because of testosterone? And don't get me wrong, there's girls that are fucking strong as shit. Like, I'm not taking anything away. But yeah, I mean, the compression that men can handle, maybe because of testosterone, whatever.
Like density too. I mean,
density.
men are generally.
Yeah. But yeah, when you compress everything from your, you know, basically your traps, trap 1, all the way down to L4, L5, now squat. And it's like, well, now my hips have to have internal and external rotation, because when you squat down, it's internal, then it's external at the bottom. Now you got to get out of that. And now your ribs are compressed. So you got like mostly a 60-degree forward bend, 70-degree forward bend. I'm not good with degrees. Maybe it's the other way around. But if you stand up straight, it's 0 degrees, right? And then you go, and your bar has to travel forward. And, it's just men and women are just, they're different. And that's just fucking, they're different. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They're fucking different.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Do you think the wear and tear from men to women is different because of like the amount of load that they're able to like handle, or do you think it's like relative to the body type?
oh, that's a good question.
Because I think about sometimes like, is it equivalent for a guy squatting 400 pounds to a woman squatting 400 pounds, assuming that they're both capable of that weight for the same amount of volume, same amount of like force production? Or is it like that load, even if all things are equal, is still more wear and tear on the woman's body than it is man's?
I feel the Q angle of the hips of a woman because of childbirthing. It's the wear and tear is more lower back. And I feel guys are more wear and tear on like elbows, knees, ankles, hips, because we don't push out kids.
Yeah.
That kind of way. And how our body, like we stand and your ankle is mobility, your knee is stability, your hips are mobility, and you just keep going, right? And that's, so many people have said it, and I think it's basic physical therapy or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. And, but yeah, women have usually general Q angle, and their wear and tear is different, and how they breathe under load I've found is usually different, even with cues.
Yeah.
And you watch, I'm not a big internet guy. Like, I don't watch much on the internet of people lifting, unless you guys, Dom shows me something, you show me something. But those are usually the people that are just the 1%ers anyways. So.
Yeah, for sure.
But the real people that we like physically look at every day, I notice quite a bit of a difference, between guys and girls, Yeah, and how you, like, I feel guys are more, like, if I say breathe through your stomach, it's one of those things that's kind of like, okay. If I say breathe through your stomach to a girl, they're like, ooh, then my stomach's going to go bigger,
Yeah.
And it's true,
Yeah.
But it's kind of like one of those things, like, you got to create some space so your hips can work instead of just collapsing your ribs on top of each other and your spine on top of each other, They're
kind of still like subconsciously thinking about, am I going to look fat
Right.
while I'm lifting weights?
It's trure.
Yeah.
It's true. I can't tell you, at least once a day, somebody says that they feel bloated.
Yeah.
You're like, well, maybe you're bloated.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
Or maybe you just feel like you're bloated because you watched something or somebody's,
Right. Right.
something happened.
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay to be bloated. It's going to be a better squat today.
I also feel like, weirdly enough, that guys have more of like an emotional tie to their performance in the gym, lifting and stuff, and that sometimes hinders it more than like a female's ability to get better.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like chicks don't have the same emotional investment, so they're able to progress a little bit quicker, faster. They think about it less analytically, and a guy's like, shit, I didn't do it as fast as last week or whatever. So it like actually like deters them from progressing faster.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel like guys' mentality is more of a pack mentality. So they want to be better than the guy that they're training with or competing against. And a girl is more like, I want to do and make proud what my coach is telling me or my trainer is telling me. Sure. One person. So I'm going to listen to one person. And then you get a group of guys like a Sunday squatting, and they're like, I got to add more. I got to beat Dom. I got to beat Ryan. I got to, I got to beat this pack. I got to be the head of the pack.
Yeah.
Instead of just listening to one person,
Do you think this is I was listening to a podcast yesterday, Modern Wisdom. You guys know that?
Heard of it.
Chris Williamson or something. Yeah, you've heard of it.
The British guy?
Yeah.
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 But they were talking about deadlifts and squats and like the McGill Big Three. You know that? But they were talking about deadlifts and squats and it being like, those are the two lifts that people are like, watch what you're doing. Like, you better be careful, that type of thing. but people are always like, be careful, blah, blah. Do you guys think that deadlifts and squats are more or less injurious than other lifts? I have changed my mind on this because I used to think no. And it's all about pattern building and making sure that you're able to, like, you know, handle the load and stuff like that. But I almost feel like now that they are more injurious, even if you build resiliency through it, because you have the ability to try to lift more load in a variable situation.
Sure.
Rather than like a leg press. Like you can do 700 pounds, like 100 pounds more than last week,
Right.
but there's probably going to be a stopper and you don't have any of that axial loading. Like you don't have to think about, you don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? You just like stop. But with like a squat or a deadlift, like there is the potential for a lot of things. And I always say like, it doesn't like if the movement is dynamic in nature, there's always more chance of getting hurt.
There's
no
more
matter
risk.
what. Yeah, there's more risk.
Especially
Yeah, what do you think?
static to
But, like,
dynamic
the risk
accelerated.
reward
Yeah.
is like, I think it's kind of relative to what your goals are.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's something to loading the spine,
Yeah.
not even necessarily heavy, just loading it in general. So you could look at that as a squat. And then I think it more, if you want to look at it from a general population, overall health, I think the goal should always be to stay rigid longer.
Yeah.
So loading the spine somehow, doesn't have to be super heavy, but somehow loading it and just being able to get down, mobility of getting down, standing up, looking at it like, okay, I'm going to be 70 years old someday. How will I be able to stand up? You still need to have that strength. Same with deadlifting, right? Like you still need to be able to pick up an object. So if you look at it from a general, like real life practical, I think, yeah, obviously the risk to reward, I could see how maybe someone is like, but I think if you want to actually look at it and like staying rigid over a long time, I think they're important to implement somehow. Yeah. But I could see how as a general population, it's like, is the risk to reward there? If you're just a person who says, I want to come in and lift weights,
Yeah, because I even think about like I've thought about that too, and like even in just this short period of time, like so like being devil's advocate, I'm like I don't know if somebody needs to squat a bar. I don't know if somebody needs to deadlift a bar in order to be functional for life.
I mean, I think if you're just looking at barbell movements, I think, yeah, maybe you're right. But I think there's so many variation of just if we're just looking at those two, that you can implement maybe in a safer way for a general population.
You can do a goblet
trap
squat
bar versus maybe like with a bar for most people, maybe would be more proficient or safer or achieve what their goals are.
Yeah.
Or like a goblet squat for someone, or at least starting with that and working into it, I think. But I think those two movements play a very important role in what I would say is like longevity.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
my goal is always to have somebody doing like barbells.
Right,
always.
right.
It's easier to load, you know, like stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a 1 rep max, definitely gonna risk some pain.
Yeah.
Are they gonna be paralyzed? Nah. Are they gonna come back to you? Probably not. But
yeah.
but if they're a power lifter,
Yeah.
then that's, or a strong man or a weightlifter or whatever, that's something that they know.
Yeah.
If it's general, like you just want to look good naked and you want to have a better life outside, any friction created, which is resistance training, anything, a barbell, or whatever, a deadlift, a squat, an arm curl, your body will release more synovial fluid to the joint working, which is why if you do have arthritis, it's going to go to that area that you're working. And people are like, wow, my knees hurt when I came in and I feel way better now, right? And then the people who don't do that are in more pain because they stay away from it. But synovial fluid is like a reaction to load, friction, your muscles going in and out, right? So that'll make you, now the days that you don't lift, your body still says, well, we were going to, so it's still giving you synovial fluid, so you still feel better.
Yeah.
A squat, for people who have back issues and hip issues, I think is perfect, but it doesn't have to be on your back. Goblet squat, body weight, something where your movement, like we all know this one, baby squat.
Right.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Why would we stop? Now, people can be like, well, we don't drink milk out of boobs anymore.
but people,
I get it.
People
right.
have always squatted though.
Always
just
squat.
live a different life
Yeah.
than
Different life. Deadlift. We pick things up off the floor. We usually, though, efficiently never bend our knees to pick something off the ground. We only hip hinge.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like hip hinging deadlifting for the general public, RDL, stiff leg, whatever you want to call it, is better than an actual deadlift.
Yeah.
Gets their shins out of the way, gets them to hip hinge. It gets their femurs to set back and their ass to sit back. So I think that is better, right? So I think adding anything like that stuff is good. The load pattern for whatever that individual has as a goal is where you come in. We come in to play and be like, okay, that's good enough. Feel good. Let's move on. You saw some things that were good. Did their form start breaking down? Maybe we stop there.
Yeah.
Make a note of it, and then we just keep moving on. But as a power lifter, a strong man, a strength athlete, CrossFitter, whatever, it's part of the game, I mean,
but also knowing when and how to do it, like when to use them.
okay, and then,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, the one thing that I hear all the time, and when I mean all the time, I don't mean like every day, but like majority of all the years I've been doing this, is that people will always say, well, I saw somebody do it like this, or somebody told me like this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And that is maybe true for them.
Right.
And they may miss that.
Everyone
point.
wants to deadlift like Brian Shaw and all the strongman guys, but they're not 6'6", 400 pounds.
With
When you're 5'6", 180 pounds, it's not.
it's different. And
There's context.
Yeah.
there's context there. You got to look at, do they have long arms, short arms, torso? Like everybody's going to deadlift differently.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I explained the difference between a deadlift and a pull. And a pull is an Olympic lifting thing to get ready for the second pull at your hips to receive the bar at your shoulders or over your head in a deep squat position. A deadlift is a straight back with more of a thoracic rounding position. So you leg press it off the floor and you round it over. So because you only have to stand erect with the barbell across your thighs, which is where your abs, that's where that thoracic bending comes in. Because if you were ever going to take a punch in the stomach, you would never be like,
Right.
okay. You'd be like, okay, that's a deadlift right there. A pull where you're super straight, upright, and you let your knees kind of swing back. So you slingshot your knees forward and then hit your hips. That's a different setup, and that's a different head position, and that's a different hand position. That's usually a hook grip involved. There's a lot of things differently. So a deadlift, a pull, a squat, a goblet squat, I think they're all good. Just whoever's got to.
The movements are important. It's how you prescribe them or
Yeah.
have the person do it or load them. However.
I mean, the people that hurt themselves the most is bench pressing.
Yeah, I would say bench press.
Bench pressing is fucking retarded.
Because that's what everyone knows, right? You walk into a gym, hey, how much you bench? No one cares how much you squat.
Yeah.
It's just always bench. And I think that depending on how you bench, I think that movement pattern is something that needs to be really mastered.
Holy
because
fuck.
it's so unnatural.
There's so
I think
many
there is something
errors.
pre-described.
So many points of contact.
I think we naturally know how to squat and pick things up. Like it's just instinct, whether we do it correctly, move right. But like to bench press, that's not a movement we're really made to do.
Yeah, I
Then never
actually
do
just
it.
like pulled my pec like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. So I just completely stopped bench pressing.
Sure.
Like there's no reason that I need to do this.
Yeah, well, I mean,
there you
for what
go. There's
do-
no
yeah.
reason.
Yeah,
Right.
so I just moved to dumbbells and
Right.
like really control the eccentric, that type of thing. I'm like, I don't have to do a bench press. It's not like it's making me more functional whatever
Right.
that means in any capacity. So dumbbells are gonna do the same thing, if not actually probably a little
Yeah.
bit better.
I mean,
For
yeah.
my
Oh, yeah.
context,
For what
that's
you
probably
want,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, outside of it being fun and maybe like an ego stroke, why would you do it if you don't have to? I think that would be one thing like most people shouldn't really do for how much people do it, at least frequency wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you compete, there's really
there's
not
really
much to be
no-
gained from it.
Yeah,
People like to do it.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing that
it's a fun lift.
It's
It's-
universally just
it's
known.
universally fun.
Monday's
like,
International
Yeah.
Chest Day. Everyone
Yeah,
goes to the gym,
yeah,
and no one
curls.
cares how much you squat or deadlift. Every time you see a guy who has muscles, it's how much you bench, bro.
what do you bench?
Mm.
What do you bench?
Doesn't matter.
What do
It's
you
got to be 315.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah,
more,
yeah,
people don't care. They can't fathom it.
Yeah.
Anything less, it's like, well,
Yeah.
come
3
on,
plates.
315,
Yeah,
3 plates.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. But yeah, I think that would be
Yeah, bench
dangerous.
press is like the one that I'm like, why are you worried about it?
Yeah.
Don't even. But if you're worried about it, like points of contact and stuff like that, and you're going to compete in it, then you got to spend a lot of time in it.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of time mastering, that lift. And then when you master that lift and let's say you suck at it, but I'm going to use Heather as an example. Is
Yeah.
that okay?
Yeah, I don't care.
She is not a very proficient bench presser.
No.
Okay. But she's strong. So she can move some weight in a terrible movement.
She can muscle her way through it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
That over time isn't going to work well.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time and a lot of sets mastering and try to set up and whatever. So by the time she's done, we don't have to do much else.
Yeah.
Like just bench and master that because you only have so much to recover from, especially with a job on your feet, all that kind of stuff. So then as that gets better, we will bench less for risk of injury and do more assistance dumbbell stuff and then go from there and then she can bench,
I think she actually is a really good example for a lot of this stuff because she's naturally gifted with strength. Like she's really just strong for no reason. And
She got a lot of internal anger, it seems, too.
yeah, it has nothing to do with me probably.
She's just a woman.
Yeah.
They have internal anger.
Yeah.
Justin's gonna cut this.
She's like but since I've known her, she's been strong.
Sure.
But she's always dealt with some sort of like shoulder injury or whatever. Maybe it's AC joint, rotator cuff, whatever it is, or labrum. I don't even think the PTs have told her exactly what they think it is, but I've always blamed it like, yeah, she's just really strong, so she can get away with like muscling her way through things. So like even if you would watch like stuff like her ring muscle ups or bar muscle ups or whatever, she's not really doing the movement that's required. She's
Right.
pulling herself where she needs to.
Yeah.
Where like me, I can do like 15 to 20 bar muscle ups unbroken, right? And it's like, it's not because I'm strong enough to do that. It's because I understand
You mastered the
movement
technique
pattern.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I've mastered the technique of like, I don't have to muscle my way through this. I don't have to use that much energy to get this done
Yeah.
because I understand how to move. But like with her, and so like, yeah, a lot of the things that I think about is like, I've noticed with you've done a really good job at being able to keep a lot of people away from injury throughout the years. And I think that a lot of people get injured because they're relying on the ability to muscle something rather than actually move properly.
Right.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've seen Heather when she was in CrossFit mode. I've seen her do snatches, and that's cringy.
Yeah.
And but she doesn't fucking stop.
Yeah.
And she gets away with it, like because she just, like you said, muscles it up, and it works.
Yep.
But how long does that work? Like we say, it just beats you up after a while.
Because she's like not even like, well, I know that we keep using her as an example, but like even when she's like snatching, she's not meeting the bar.
Right.
She's letting the bar fall on her.
Right. Yeah.
And so like she moves pretty good with cleans. Like she's really good at cleans. But yeah, with Olympic lifts, it's like meeting the bar at the point of no weight business, right?
Yeah.
Instead of letting it fall on you
Yeah.
type thing. Because that's where the wear and tear is
So
going to
much
come
wear
from.
and tear.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
That's
interesting.
It's like you need the proprioception of the weight coming down on you because you're blind and you don't know where it is. Where a clean, you see everything, and a front squat, you see everything.
Yep.
And a snatch, you're like, whoop.
You gotta hope it's there.
I think it's here. And then it comes down, and you're like, okay, quick, shrug it up, fight it. And what do? Fall forward.
Yeah.
It's just, if it falls backwards, all right, I'll take a fall backwards.
Yeah.
Falling forwards, you didn't finish something, you didn't do so, you just didn't do something right.
I'll bail if I don't feel the timing is right. I just bail on the lift. It's
save
not worth
yourself.
what could happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. So just let it go. I feel like Olympic lifts are a whole different topic for sure, but it takes a different level of awareness than some of the power lifts do for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely more mastery that seems to have to go into it.
Yeah. Kitty needs a little potty break.
So Heather wants to do powerlifting now.
Yeah,
Has she like picked a meet out or anything, or just trying to train and just kind of go with it, or what?
I think mostly right now it's just just training.
Sure.
But I think she's gonna do the same one that Becca's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where to find the link or anything.
Where is it? What is a USPA? Oh, yeah.
It's like in
Reedsburg.
Madison or
Reedsburg.
Reedsburg.
or
It's right outside the Dells.
Yeah.
Like an hour
yeah.
away.
Yeah, so she's gonna do that.
That's a good one for,
Mm-hmm.
like, especially for starting.
Dude, I think that she'll do really well in powerlifting.
Oh yeah,
Transfer.
she'll have more fun.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. And it doesn't take as long. Dude, oh my gosh. Even to be even to be a like mid-tier level CrossFitter, it takes so much time.
Oh,
in the
from
gym.
I see.
training
I thought you meant like
perspective.
the day length of being at a powerlifting.
No, oh
meet.
god.
Gotcha.
Powerlifting meets are terrible. They're
Yeah,
horrible
yeah.
to go through.
Fucking A.
I hate competing.
Yeah.
I love it, but it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The competing part, it's fun, but it also sucks because you're there all
It's
day.
a long day, yeah.
And it's a lot
It's
of,
just a
like,
lot.
trying to stay warm and
Yep.
eating and
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
CrossFit's kind of nice because although it's all day and multiple days in a row, like there's so many things to do.
Yeah.
Like there's vendors and there's like things to keep interested, whatever. But yeah, I told Heather, I used to feel bad for people coming to my
I hate when
meets
people
or
come.
whatever. Yeah, because it's just
My
like,
parents are always like, "Oh, we're gonna." I'm like, "Please don't."
Please
like
don't.
it's because then
like
what?
falling
If
asleep
I
on the
Yeah,
couch or
yeah.
some shit.
You're like, oh.
if I screw up on my squat and I bomb, well,
Yeah.
you just drove a couple hours to come here and
Yeah.
watch me do
Yeah.
nothing and just sit and pout, and then I don't want to talk to you anyways. So it's like,
Yeah.
And some things are just better left separate.
Yeah.
Family life.
Separate,
But yeah, no,
yeah.
I hate when people come and watch me pop.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love when Kirk comes. I love when your Uncle Scott comes. Those are maybe the two people that I'm like comfortable with enough that also I feel like they understand. Well, obviously Kirk understands what's going on, understand it, get it, can help me get through a day. But anyone else, I'm like, dude, don't.
Yeah, don't
I'm bored.
Yeah,
I'm competing and it's
yeah.
a long day.
Yeah. Like watching the lift itself is cool.
Yeah.
So like, but then you don't account for like the multiple hours that go between.
But you at the most get 9 minutes of spotlight.
Yeah,
Because you get
Yeah.
like, I mean,
1
yeah,
minute.
Like, but that's
Yeah.
just what your attempt is, right?
Yeah.
If bars loaded, you get 1 minute. So at the most, if you take all 9 attempts, it's maybe 9 minutes of spotlight, and in those 9 minutes, it's what, maybe 10 seconds of action per lift. So
Yeah.
maybe a minute of someone
Yeah.
actually like
For
honing
12
in and being
hours.
like,
Yeah.
and then that's a 12-hour day for
Yeah.
a minute of actual event.
For power, how have they not figured out a more efficient way to do it yet?
It's just there's not really
Money.
a better way.
You think it's money?
Yeah, I mean, you pay the federation, right? You pay then the be there, probably pay for a shirt, and you try to get as many. And then the audience, you make them pay, and then you have, let's say, a max of 50 people, right? That's a minute a person, and each person gets 3
Of those.
of those per lift. And it's
Yeah.
a,
And there's
it's
usually,
a squat,
like-
a bench, a deadlift, a 15-minute intermission
Yep.
between each one. And it's just
Yeah.
I mean,
one
you
of
almost have
those.
an hour of just like time between events sometimes.
Yeah.
40 minutes
Yeah.
of just dead.
You got 3 flights maybe,
So
Yeah.
and then
each flight takes at least an
each
hour, more or less.
yeah, you're
At least
just
for squat and squat.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, like, let's see. Okay, the deadlift contest. Shamelessly plug that that we're gonna do on
Yeah.
the 7th.
Totally different.
Is we took everything that we don't like about it, took it out, and we put everything that we do like in it, and that's it. And it'll start like the bar will probably come off the platform at 10:30.
Yep.
We'll be done at
Noon.
we'll probably be
No.
done at like
Lifting usually
10:45.
Yeah, right. I mean,
And then we do auction items and stuff like that. Stuff for people on a Saturday. They're going to spend 2 hours, 2.5 hours of having fun,
Yeah.
watching family members, drinking, eating, auction, and supporting everything local.
yeah.
Now that is fun. Now that is what I want to do on a Saturday for 2 hours.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't want to fucking pack up my bag,
Yeah.
tell Molly that I'm going to be gone all fucking day.
Yeah.
Then come home after that, it's dark out, and be like, so what happened today? Then I have another 2 hours of what happened today.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well,
nothing
how,
really
yeah, nothing. Now what happened with Dom or whoever? And then I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I was like, he did good.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because she doesn't understand a 700-pound squat.
And to most
or, you
people,
know.
yeah, how do you explain it anyways?
Yeah,
Like,
so we
unless
just-
someone truly knows what's going on, it's just kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that good?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, so we just do the deadlift, and the rules are different in the deadlift, and we allow pretty much a strongman / powerlifting, so you can ramp and hitch.
It's very much
and
a
strong.
point A to point B deadlift. Stand up with it, lock it out, put it back down.
You have
That's
to
all you
follow
gotta
it
do.
down. You just
However
cannot
you get it
drop
up,
it.
however you get it up, you can get it up. But you just have to follow it all the way down.
Yeah.
Yep.
It
And
doesn't get any easier.
people love it.
Yeah.
They love it. They're like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this what a real lift, like powerlifting is? I'm like, no. No, dude, just do this. Yeah.
And we've seen, I mean, obviously a lot of the members do it. We've seen some pretty cool performances out of like the most random people
Random people.
that
like,
you would
day
never
of.
expect. Because we have a lot of people who like, this is like their first athletic event, more or
Yeah.
less,
Yeah.
that they've ever done in their life. And then, or also done anything in front of a crowd of people
Yeah.
who are excited to see him.
Yeah,
and cheering
yeah,
him on.
yeah.
So it's super cool to see some of these people like, oh my God, I didn't know I was capable of any of that.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, even from you, from like a coaching standpoint, it's like, I don't even know what to put on the bar.
Yeah,
Because,
I'm like, I've never
you've done
seen you do that.
10x
That's
of
awesome.
what you've ever done.
Yeah.
Because they're so like amped up. And it's
Yeah.
super cool to see that from people who you would never expect it from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a fun time.
it's
I'm
a
excited for it.
very unique, fun event. It's one of my
very
favorite days of the
unique.
year.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
And it's a huge, just Christmas time.
Yeah.
We do a toy drive. We do blessings in a backpack. We do, auction items,
50-50 raffle.
50-50 raffle. And it's
All the food and booze is free, but we ask for donations.
Donations.
It's put back into for
Food
blessings
and
in the
booze
back.
is free?
Yep.
Oh.
We just ask for a
Everything-
charitable donation. Everything's free.
donate. Everything is free. Free to watch, free to do, or not free to do. It's $60 to do.
Yep.
And then money goes into blessings in a backpack. Toys go to Waukesha Council, Christmas Council.
Christmas Clearing Council.
Yep.
And we do same day sign up. So you got until December 7th at 10 a.m. to sign up.
Yeah, Heather's bringing a bunch of friends that are probably
Awesome.
going to sign up on.
Yeah, I mean, we almost have
Rules
close to-
meetings at 9.
Rules meetings at 9.
Rules meetings at 9.
Be here by 9.
Yeah,
but
be here,
I think
yeah.
we have already over 25 people signed up.
25
It's pretty
today.
cool.
Yeah,
Which
And
is
I
good.
think I have at least 2 to 3 other kind of outsider people who are roughly committed too. So I mean, we usually get between 25, 30. I think this year we might push past 30 as long as people don't drop out. Unfortunately, a couple people always do at the end, which is fine.
If we
but
got 31, that
Yeah.
would be
that'd be our best one. I
our
think.
best.
Yeah.
That'd be the best.
And
one.
we're about right there.
There's
So I'd love to
25
see
right now?
it. 25 or 26.
But we only got 2.5 weeks.
Yep.
I mean, you've done it before.
Yeah.
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 Dom's done it.
Yep.
I think we're bringing 4 more people.
Awesome. Yeah. So we should be right at that 30 mark.
Yeah.
I'm
Usually
gonna-
1 or 2 people drop. So I bet we'll be right at that 30.
I'm gonna try to maybe raise some money to get one of the cops to taser somebody.
Oh, we want to do that again?
Somebody.
I already did it.
Yeah.
I did it. So when we did it, that was the first year we did it.
Yeah.
And that was like our whole sales gimmick was Dom versus Taser.
Yeah.
But I think we only wanted to raise $1,000, which at the time we didn't know any better. It was the first one, and that was pretty easy.
Yeah.
We've 10x what we did from the first one. This is our 6th one. So I think
Yeah.
we need to find a better dollar amount and someone stupid enough to do it. But weirdly enough, the day we did it, like we only thought I was getting tased and 2 other guys volunteered.
2 guys volunteered
They're
on
like,
the
"Oh, yeah, I'll do it
crowd.
for
Who else
free."
did it?
Ian Carpenter, and then a guy that used to work across the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, yeah, I'll get tased. We're like,
Yeah, $100, and
Yeah.
they're like, fuck it. I think one guy paid $100 to do it.
yeah.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
That was fun. People really like that. I mean,
It
that'd
was
be
fun.
But
I would not pay to get tased. There's no way.
It's
No.
it's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, they can make it bad, but
Yeah, I mean, the one guy rode the lightning the whole time, and he talked like he was like, "This ain't shit," you know. Whatever. He's in prison now, but
What?
yeah, he took it like a man. Don took
hey,
it like a man.
I didn't fall.
Nope. Just
Jerry keeps telling me there might have been a malfunction with the taser, but I felt
Every
it.
cop,
all the cops were all salty.
are like,
But in my head, I'm thinking about all the cops we got here, and I'm like, I need to be stronger than these guys. I know I can. I'm like, just don't fall down. It's 5 seconds. And
Just
in my head,
take
that's
it.
all I could think about was all them standing there, and they're like, oh my God, it's so terrible.
How long was that? 5 seconds in your head, though?
It feels long.
Yeah.
The worst part was Jerry shot me, and
you
then
did it with
he.
your shirt off.
Oh, yeah. I took my
Like
shirt
he's
off.
like, I'm
like, I
putting all
want
the
it.
probes right
And
in.
apparently, the more muscle bound you are, the worse it is because it constricts all your muscles. So, I mean, being a little bit more muscle bound, it's a little worse. But they were counting down, and all of a sudden he's like 3, 2, and then didn't even give me a 1 or anything, just shot me. And I was like, oh. Honestly, the worst part was getting the probes pulled out. And they told me, like, oh, you'll be so fried.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's like a fish hook. They're like, oh, you won't even feel the barbs because they're like so numb in those spots. I felt that. I thought that was worse than.
Oh, hell.
But I'm kind of, I don't really like that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. It's not as bad as I thought it'd be.
I don't
do that over pepper spray.
I don't want to do
I'm
that.
never doing that.
Yeah.
Hell no. No.
But I bet if Kirk, if you did it, we could probably.
Oh, we raised, man. So many people want to see me get tased.
Wish we could do like a survivor pool. And
He's like, it's not that
people-
much. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
50 grand, I would do it all day
50
long.
grand.
All day long. Anybody, yeah. But, yeah, it would be fun.
All right. Well, cool. I think that's
It's our shameless
Good word.
plug.
Yeah.
a good place to stop it.
So yeah,
Good
December
day.
7th,
December 7th.
10 a.m.
Yep.
Santa's coming at
Rules
10
meeting
a.m.
at 9. Lifting starts at 10:30. $60 a person.
Heck.
Sign up at the door. All proceeds go to charity. Bring an unwrapped gift.
It's a
See you there.
50-50 raffle.
50-50 raffle. Silent auction.
Silent auction.
Food, booze.
Bring friends, bring family.
Super good time. I
Yeah.
mean, we pack a couple hundred people in here. Everyone has a great time. I don't think anyone's left not having an awesome time.
Yeah.
It'll be
So.
good. Sweet. With that, like, subscribe. We'll talk to you guys in the next one.